Hello everyone. Now today, you've seen the title, and this is for, I call it a Tanness 12 litre dehumidifier. Is Tanness the right name? Let me show you the box. We've seen the picture anyway, surely there's going to be a picture on the front. Now, there's the box it came in, look. You see it's as light as a feather. Well, it will be, won't it, with no machine in it. I wanted to show you this because it's got straps round as well. It's quite secure when you get it. You see what I mean? You have to cut that like nylon braid in. Now, you can see what it says on there, and this is a 12 litre electric dehumidifier, and it's supposed to be for 2,000 square foot coverage area. Now, as normal with Graham, I'm looking at the price as well, aren't I? And there are bigger ones, there's all different makes. Now, I'm going to tell you about this make, but that's simply because I've got it. I'm not saying rush out and get one of these, it's the best thing since sliced bread. But it has got lots of features on it, and we're finding it pretty good. It is good. I mean, it's got, I'll put some pictures up somewhere, I will do, as we get sorted out. Now, it's got very good controls on the top, easy to control. And the thing I found, when you set the controls, it takes it a little time to respond. You think, is it going to work or isn't it? I think they're all going to be like this. I think it's the way they work. So when you turn it off, it takes it time to slow down and stop. You know, not everything's immediate. Now, it's got an air purifier in it, it says, and what it does, it's taking the moisture out of the air. Because if you read up on dehumidifiers, a lot of houses, they get a lot of problems with damp, and the damp is mainly through water in the atmosphere, like when you breathe in, you're cooking. Now, since we've had like the air fryers, we're not getting anywhere near the moisture we used to. And also, with having the use of the rice cooker and the pressure cooker and all these things reduce the amount of water that you're putting into the air. We used to have loads of steaming pans in there, mate. You can't see, it's like a sauna, isn't it, if you're doing a roast dinner. But we've cut back on that. Now, another thing I wanted to say, we've had a lot of insulation on our house, and with these houses never been damp. We've not had a damp problem, we never had. But when they insulated the houses, they put various vents in. You need venting, and they said the more the house is insulated, the more venting you need to let the air in and out, which actually, if you read up about it, makes a bit of sense. Now, we've got vents in the windows, there's gaps under the doors, and this is all to allow ventilation of rooms, because they've told us if you keep a room isolated with no heating in there or anything, it's not good for the house. You will start to get damp, and if somebody's in there and you've got an heater on and all windows and doors shut with no ventilation, you're going to get problems. Now, I know this is a fact. We know plenty of people that get damp in their house. I've been very careful. I check ours. I bought little, I think they're called humidistats, little tiny things, and I've got I think I bought 8 of them, and they're dotted all over the house. And for the last, it's over 2 years now, I've been checking that and making sure that we're not too high. Now, if we get really damp spells, we can get into the 70s. Now, I think that's a little bit unavoidable, but normally we're pretty good. But what I have found since we bought this dehumidifier, we've got it down, and I can get it down. I've been reading, and from what I can make out, it wants to be in the 50s, 55, 50 is ideal, and it usually is. We can get it down to that, even if it goes higher. Now, I'm not saying this is we live in a 3-bedroom house. Now, I'm not saying this is the perfect size for that, because there's so many different things on the internet. Some say you need bigger, but I have been reading that if you buy one a lot smaller than a 12 litre, it won't do the job. It's just not big enough, it can't cope. But we seem to be okay, but we've not got a damp problem. Now, people I know that have got a damp problem have told me that they're sucking masses of water out of the air for weeks and weeks, and it gradually settles down. Now, this is not like a scientific test, so I can't tell you how long they have it on or anything, but I've done checks on ours and it definitely brings it down for us. But as I say, we've not got any damp in the first place. But from what I've read, if you have humidity over 60, you run the risk of getting damp. You know, you will start to get damp patches on windows and in corners of your room. We've not really had that. We do get sometimes we get moisture on the inside of the glass, but what we have found, this does help with that, definitely. So all I can say to you is it does work. Now, I can read through all the specifications of this if you want me to, but I don't really think there's any need, because it's for you to make your own mind up. But I just wanted to tell people what's happened to us. Now, what I've done, I've got it running at the minute and it's right next to me. Now, I don't know whether you can hear it, and it's actually gone on to the lower fan speed. It's not particularly noisy. I mean, I can hear it. I would imagine you can hear that. I'll let you, I'll get the camera on it and we'll have a better look. Now, I had intended to give you a load of specifications, but I think there's no point, because I'll just put on the description what it is. Now, they sell this on Amazon, and again, I was looking at the price as well, and I actually got this for £88. Now, I've had a look, and today it says it's £129, but there's a £15 voucher, I think it is, and then about 20%, or it could be a £10 voucher, and then there's 20% off as well. So it ended up, I think it might be a bit cheaper than I paid. It's there's loads of models. I didn't know which to buy, and I think there's models, and some are definitely better than others, but I don't know how good this is, but I know it's worked for us. That's all I can really tell you. Now, there's some little bits here. I thought I could just, bits that I've sort of wrote down as I've gone along. Now, if I can find, I'm on my actual pad, my iPad. Now, if I can make out where we are, I took some notes and I thought I'd try and read. Now, the thing that does us, our family have got these, and they've told me you can use them for drying the washing. Now, we have a problem, everybody does in the winter. Now, we've got central heating, and we've got a dryer, but Wendy's argument is you can't use the dryer for everything. It's all right for a lot of your washing, but like thick tops and you know, woolens and things like that, it's not good. Now, we don't like using it anyway, because that thing, mate, that'll eat your money for you. But this time of year, it's been very hit and miss. You just, if it's sunny and bright like today, clothes are still not drying. So what we've tended to do, we've got a spare room, and what I've been doing recently is I like close the door and shut it off. We've got the vents in the window open, and then Wendy still thinks you need the warm air, so we've had the radiator on in there as normal. Now, we've had the dryer on drying some of the clothes. Now, you get gallons of moisture coming out when you use a dryer, don't you? Ours is not the one with the elephant's trunk, it's got the tank internally. Now, that gets a lot of water in it, but what I've found, like the things that Wendy says won't go in the dryer because it doesn't do them any good, we've been hanging them on an airer, and I've been putting this in the room. Now, you don't want it directly on it, from what I've read, that's not the idea. The idea is it'll dry the air out in the whole area. So we hang the clothes up on an airer, and I switch that on, shut the door and leave it. And this is a 2 litre tank on this model. I can get 2 litres of water out of there. It's usually about 5 hours, and there is a setting on this machine for clothes drying, and it runs for 6 hours. But I found normally our washing has been dry in that time, more or less, or it's brought the humidity right down. Now, I have got 2 litres out of there. It depends what you wash, doesn't it? You know, but if you've got a few jumpers and fleeces hanging on this area, you can soon suck some water out of there. It makes a big difference. Now, I'm rambling on again, aren't I? Let's have a look, see what I did make some notes. And what I also did, I took a little clip of film. I'll have to have a look at that myself. It was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now, I've been running this. Apparently, I purchased this on the 27th of October, and we've been running it not all the time. We're not running it all the time because I keep a check on the humidity stats. To me, everybody needs humidity stats. I mean, when I bought them, I didn't really understand, and I read and I thought, oh, I just bought the little cheap ones. They were fine. Now, with dotting them all over the house, I just look as I go by, because Wendy says, here we go again, checking. But as a result of that, I've found that our humidity isn't too bad, but if it gets above 60, we can soon reduce it down with this. Now, I have been leaving it switched on, and it's not running all the time, because you can set the humidity to what you want. You know, I think it goes from 30 to whatever. But I've been setting it at around 50, 55 and leaving it, and it'll just come on when it reaches that point. Now, sometimes I've had it switched off for days because it's been okay, and then I'll switch it on and try it. Now, for the first couple of weeks, I didn't think to check the electric, but after the first couple of weeks, I mean, this is from the end of October, and now this is January, we're in the next year, so it's run for it's run for at least a couple of months. And I've been plugging the meter in every time, so I'm going to look at the values and tell you what they are, but it's not been that expensive to run, I don't think. That's another thing. This is a 12 litre. If you get the 20 litre, it's using more electric. Now, some of them use more electric than this one anyway. So this one, they've stuck the label right over where it power rating. Now it says there 160 watt, and the rated power there is 185. Now I think that's depending on what your setting is, because this says 60% is 160 watt and 80% at 30 degrees is 185 watt. So what I'm telling you, we're looking at less than 200 watt. Let me have a look what it's running at the minute. Now at the minute it's running at 152 watt, so that's the lower end, isn't it? That's what it's running at right now next to me. I will show you. Right, if I can find these notes that I've been taking. Oh dear, oh dear. Now, again, what I was going to say is if you're struggling with damp in the house, this is not the only way to cure it. You need to let ventilation in. But at this time of year, we're all the same, aren't we? We've got probably central heating or whatever heating we've got, and you're not going to sit there with the windows wide open because you're freezing. So this is like an answer to that. I'm not saying I don't know anything about it, but from what I've read, this is one solution. Now this machine, it's 22 deep, 25.5 width and 46 high. That's centimetres. That's the size of it. Now I wrote that down. The thing is, it's got I wrote this down as well. It's got a digital humidity display, which I did tell you, and it's got a sleep mode, so it runs quiet. It won't come on the maximum speed. And it's got a 24-hour timer on it if you want to use the timer, and also it's got a continuous drainage. I don't know whether it shows you on the box. If you go inside it, it's like a little adapter and a little pipe. I can't see it on here, and it will drain into some other vessel, or if you've got it running outside or whatever. But I'm just emptying the tank at this stage because we're not getting a massive problem. We're really not. I think it tells you on here, look. Yeah, sleep mode. It's got a child lock on it, and it's got auto defrost. You know, if it gets really frosty in the house, a 24-hour timer. It actually sits on wheels, so you can wheel it about. Now that's the other thing with these units, they're fairly heavy. I don't think I've got the weight wrote down, but you can check that online. But it is an heavy article. I mean, I carry it upstairs and downstairs, but I try and avoid it because it is hefty, definitely. I won't, mate, if you're in your 40s, you're going to carry it dead easy in one hand. But, you know, if you're 80, you might struggle a bit to carry it up and down the stairs. Mate, at that age, you just might struggle to get up and down the stairs full stop. But I'm just warning you, it's like a fridge in reverse, in effect. It's got all that pipe work in it. And what it's doing is dragging the air through and drying the air out. So there's going to be pipe work in there, copper pipe work, so it's heavy. It's not unmanageable, but it is a weight. It's just something to bear in mind. Now, I did tell you it's got a 2-litre tank. Now, I have actually read in an article, I think it was a Birmingham newspaper, and they were raving about this actual machine, saying how fantastic it is. And for the price, it's really advanced, you know, and it really is a great buy. Now, I can only tell you what they've said. I didn't read this till after. I looked at it and thought, well, that looks a decent one, but there are really good makes, but they're a lot more money. But I don't know what the difference is because we've only got this one. Now, most of the things that I've read, I'm finding more and more when I look into it that people are buying these to dry the clothes, and they're saying we don't use the dryer and nothing. This machine will dry the clothes. Now, all I can say is we don't like the washing hanging around, because we were actually getting to the stage where Wendy would go and she'd say, that's been damp too long, I can smell it. She'll wash it again. So we're saving money already because I'm washing them twice. But that's been a fact. You don't want them hanging around too long, do you? And this is one way of getting around that, because this time of year you just can't get things dry. We're all the same. Right, now what else did I want to tell you? It does say down here, I've got, I think this was from that article, that it's fantastic for managing damp in your house. Now I've got to say, probably the first couple of weeks we had it, we were getting, you know, like 3/4 of a tank sucking out the house, and I thought, oh, and we haven't got any problem. But the more we've had it and the more we've had it on, the air's drier, and I emptied it to bring it downstairs actually this morning, and we'd had it on because, whoa, we've gone to 63, I'm switching it on, you know, that's just me looking at it. 63 humidity, and I want it below that. Now, I've got my cup of tea here, look. I got about 2 of those mugs out of there. That's a sort of, and sometimes I only get 1 like that, so we're not getting vast, actually I'll have a drink. We're not getting vast quantities of moisture, but when we do the washing, as I said, I can get a full tank, which is 2 litre. Just give me a second. I find I need that because I get rattling and get so dry, mate. Now, I think really that's all I need to tell you at the minute. Now, one thing I've read, Miko seemed to be a really good quality dehumidifier, and I keep reading good reviews about those. They look all right to me. They do look good. They're a little more expensive, but again, I can't say these are better or they're better because I don't know. I've only got this one, but they do seem pretty good. Right, I think I should show you this machine and stop rattling. Let me show you. Right, now there, in that view, you can see the actual machine. Now I don't know how well you can see this, but that is the child lock. That one is the fan speed. We've got high and low fan settings. That's the timer. Now at the minute we're at 54, look. So that's come down because I say we cooked some dinner, it was in the 60s. So that's bringing it down. Now that button is where you set the humidity. You see, set on 55, you can go 50, There you go, that's 55 now, so that will switch off, but whether it will do it while I'm filming, I don't know. Now there's your mode setting, and it's got a drying and washing mode which puts the fan on high power, and that runs for 6 hours. But there's various modes on here, but as I should say, we'll look on the instructions as the best. Now if you go onto the washing, you see where that light's flashing? There is the air drying. You know when you're drying your clothes? Let me just show you, because that's going to stop, I can tell. Now I'm going to show you, look. Let me put it on the drying clothes one. There we go. Now that'll speed up now. Which already has, it's gone on to the higher setting. Now that is as loud as it gets. I don't know what you can hear. But just to show you, I tell you what, I'm going to put you back. I'm going to stop this machine and show you the stage we're at with the electric. If you look here, because it's a little awkward for me to hold it here. Can you see there, look? It says the cost is £5.49. Oh sorry, I'm not in the camera. That's the cost so far. It says 10 hours there, but what it's not showing you is the days. If I press that, that's been on 5 days and 10 hours. If you see what I mean, I know that because I've been checking it. 5 days and 10 hours, and I put 30 pence in as the cost, which I know is too high, and it's cost £5.49. So that's the sort of price we're looking at. Let me sit down and show you, because this is silly. Let me just show you the tank on the back. I'll turn it round. Can you see? There's a tank there with a water level. Let me get the camera off the stand and show you what it's showing me. Now, for me, this is a silly video. You can see a lot of the label here. You see that? It's a little awkward for me because we're crawling on the floor. The water level's there. Now it's been on about an hour. Just to show you where that is, and that tank comes off, which I will show you. Right, I've lifted this machine onto the table. I know I'm headless at the minute, but it's getting the machine in to show you. But what I wanted to show you, there's your 2 litre tank. Now that's removed that. Right. Can you see the level there of the water? I'm trying to make it so I can show you. I mean, I'm not trying to hide anything, but as I say, when we've done lots of woolens and fleeces and towels and things, you can get 2 litres of water out there easy. So it does take the water out, but we're not too bad as the house in general. But there's a pipe in there. You can connect an extra pipe onto there and run a pipe out into a bigger container if you want to do that. The thing is, with this machine, once that tank's full, it will actually switch off. Now it looks like I'm struggling here, but it's because I'm standing the wrong side. I can't get the tank back in because I can't see what I'm doing. Trust me, it's not that difficult. I'll have to spin it around and do it. Now, I've taken a couple of clips of film of this, and I think that'll show you even better. There you go. It's really easy, and you can see there's a gap there. Well, that's where the pipe comes out. If you don't want it to go in the tank, you can have whatever container, or if you can run a pipe outside. But as you see, it's not big, and it's not immensely heavy, look. But there's a weight to it, definitely. Right, and there is the sensor that knows when it wants coming on and off. Now for this, you have to keep this filter clean, look. Now, this is not clogging up quick in our house. I don't know what other houses are like, but we have got air purifiers in the house as well. But all I did there, actually it was about a week ago, I hoovered that off. There was some dust collected on here. So you just keep that clean, and there you can see that sensor look. There's not much to show you actually, it's simple stuff, and I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can because I've got to be honest, when we first got it, I took down facts and figures right from when I got it, how much it was, and I had a go at doing the washing, and I said to Andy, that's cost about 23p, and then I run it like for hours and hours and it was like 10p, and I said to her, it's just too complicated, we don't want that, we just want to see how it works. But what I thought is, I can definitely show you this. And what I'm saying, I know I've already showed you this, but it's cost me £5.49 and it shows 10 hours, but that 10 hours is 10 hours on day 5. So it's run continually for 5.5 days. So just get that in your mind, and it's used 18 kilowatt in 5.5 days running. Now that 5.5 days running is from the end, like beginning of November until now. We're just into January now, so you know that's it's the biggest part of a couple of months. So as I say, it's not running all the time, it'll go on and off, but I do sometimes unplug it. I don't just leave it in, because as I say, we don't need it in all the time. Right, now as I said, I'll give you the cost again. Now I put 30 pence in, and I know we're only on about 24 point something, but that's actually cost me £5.49. Now that's £5.49 we don't want to spend, but we don't want black mould, do we? And we don't want damp windows, so, and we want dry washing. So it's a case of whether you think that's worth it, but I can only tell you what's happened to us so far. Now I'm just doing this video to show you really, because I've got to be honest, I've been impressed with this, and so's Wendy, and our kids, they've got them as well, and other people I know, and in general people have been impressed. Some people don't seem to understand the point. Well, that's personal preference to me, but we can see that this has been all right. Now I'm not saying go out, dash out and buy one, just look at it, have a look on Amazon, and have a look at even YouTube. There's quite a few people done review. I know some people get too excited and tell you it's the best thing since sliced bread. I'm not telling you that, but what I am telling you, it does do a job, so look into it. Now I think that's about the end of the video, but I'll see what else we've got, and I have got a bit of film to put in here, so I'll put the film in now. Now the reason for this little bit of video is this really is just an example, and there's our machine, look, you see the name there, and if you look, I've got that set to I think 55, it's on 56 at the minute, so when it reaches 55 it will switch off. Now I've shown you this because when I got up this morning, look outside, it's wet and damp, it's horrible, and our humidity readings we're up to about 62, 63. Now damp can form at 60, you can start getting a little bit of mould, you know. I mean, actually we do pretty good, this house is good, we don't get a lot of mould, but to keep an eye on it, I switched that on. Now it's been on for a couple of hours, actually let me think, it's nearly 3 hours now. Let me show you how much water it's collected. Now bearing in mind that reading was only in the low 60s, but it's reduced it down. Now that is a comfortable living humidity, so it seems. Now let me show you how much water's in the tank. Right, there's the tank out of the machine. Now there's not a lot of water in here, but I just want to show you how much there is, because we've not got a damp problem. You see that coming out. Now like I just said, it's about 3 hours, and that's dropped it from the low 60s, look, to 56, and that measures 1 cup exactly. Actually, how much is that? That's 200 millilitres. Now as you can see, look, that's 200 millilitres of water it's sucked out of the air. It really it really works, I can't say it doesn't. Let's tip that away. That was just to show you what was in the tank from how long that had stood in that position. Right, all I've got to say now is I hope that's made some sense to you and it's been of some use. So please, if you want to comment or ask me questions, but you must understand, I don't really understand anything. I can only tell you what's happened to us, to me and Wendy, in our house. So everybody's different, but it does tell you what the coverage is, what house, but all I can say is we live in a 3-bedroom semi of a standard sort of size, I guess. It's not a big house, but it's not tiny. So, but I found this 12 litre to be all right for us. Now, I'm sure a bigger one would probably be better, but I mean, if you'd got, say there were me and Wendy and 4 kids, I think probably you'd want the 20 litre then, you know, and if you live in a small flat, this would be ample, I'm sure it would. But, as I say, you have to do your own research, don't you? I'm not actually trying to sell you anything, it's just I've been quite impressed and wanted to make this video. So anyway, I think I've said enough, don't you? If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you want to comment, yeah, ask me a question, but as I say, I'm no expert by any means, but I can see that this thing is working. So look after yourselves and we'll see you soon. Bye.